The public was left reeling after shocking rumors began swirling about Rick Harrison, the beloved face of Pawn Stars. The whispers spreading like wildfire are nothing short of sensational. Some claim that Rick has been sentenced to life in prison. Known for his sharp business acumen and encyclopedic knowledge of rare antiques, Rick was once the heart and soul of Las Vegas' legendary pawn shop. But what happens when a beloved icon's life takes an unexpected and dark turn? Pawn Stars has captivated millions of viewers, offering a thrilling behind-the-scenes look at the world of high-stakes antiques and thrilling deals. But now the focus has shifted. What was once a reality show about priceless treasures and dramatic negotiations is now at the center of a much more troubling, mysterious tale. What's going on behind the scenes? Are the rumors true, or is there more to this story than meets the eye? Let's dig deeper into what really happened and separate the fact from the fiction. Rick Harrison's journey is far more complex than his TV persona might suggest. Born on March 22, 1965 in Lexington, North Carolina, Rick's life story is full of twists and turns. He wasn't always the successful businessman viewers know today. In fact, his path to fame was anything but smooth. Rick's early years were far from easy. At just 2 years old, his family relocated to San Diego, California, where Rick spent much of his childhood. But life in San Diego wasn't without its challenges. Diagnosed with epilepsy at the age of 8, Rick faced frequent school absences and feelings of isolation. Yet, rather than letting this condition define him, Rick found solace in books, developing a deep love for history, a passion that would later become the foundation of his career. Though health issues forced him to drop out of high school, Rick's drive never wavered. Instead of succumbing to adversity, he turned his attention to self-education, immersing himself in business and history. This thirst for knowledge would ultimately shape his future. At just 17, Rick entered the world of the pawn business, working side by side with his father, Richard Benjamin Harrison, known as the Old Man. Together, they built what would later become the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. As if that wasn't enough, Rick's life took another major turn when his girlfriend Kim became pregnant. They married, had 2 sons, Corey and Adam, but parted ways after 8 years. In 1981, Rick and his family made another big move to Las Vegas, where his father opened the Gold and Silver Coin Shop. By 1989, the shop officially rebranded as the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, setting the stage for what would eventually become the iconic backdrop of Pawn Stars. The road to success wasn't paved with ease. Rick and his father faced constant challenges, from tough customers to risky deals. Yet, every obstacle they encountered only served to sharpen their skills. By the early 2000s, Rick had earned a reputation as one of Las Vegas' foremost experts on rare collectibles and historical artifacts. He realized the potential of turning the pawn business into something much bigger than it was. Then, in 2009, Rick signed a game-changing deal with the History Channel. The moment Pawn Stars premiered, it became an instant cultural phenomenon. Viewers were captivated by the exciting behind-the-scenes action, where rare antiques and priceless treasures exchanged hands in dramatic fashion. As the show's host, Rick quickly became a fan favorite, thanks to his sharp negotiating skills and vast historical knowledge. His iconic phrase, "The best I can do is," became synonymous with the show, drawing viewers into the heart of the action. But Pawn Stars wasn't just about flashy deals and entertaining drama. It offered something rare, an educational twist. Each episode not only entertained but also provided fascinating insights into history, with each item telling its own unique story. This blend of entertainment and education resonated with viewers of all ages, propelling Pawn Stars into one of the History Channel's most successful programs. As the show gained global popularity, so did the success of the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. Soon, the shop became more than just a business. It was a global tourist destination. This newfound success opened the door to a multitude of new business ventures. Rick expanded his brand by launching merchandise, books, and even a restaurant, solidifying his position as a savvy entrepreneur. Rick's star continued to rise. He began appearing on major TV shows, gracing magazine covers, and making a name for himself as a sought-after speaker at business events. It wasn't just his ability to make deals that set him apart, it was his calm, collected leadership. On Pawn Stars, Rick often played the role of the level-headed figure, stepping in to manage his son Corey's impulsive decisions and rein in Chumley's playful antics. From a boy who had to drop out of school due to epilepsy to a globally recognized businessman and TV personality, Rick's story became one of resilience, determination, and unwavering perseverance. The bond Rick shared with his father, Richard "Old Man" Harrison, was the cornerstone of their success. Their relationship was not only that of father and son, but also of partners, united by a shared vision built on honesty and integrity. When Old Man passed away in 2018, Rick vowed to carry on his father's legacy, ensuring the shop thrived on the same values they had always upheld. However, Rick's personal life was far from perfect. After his first marriage ended, Rick remarried Tracy Harrison, and they spent 27 years together before divorcing in 2011. In 2013, Rick married Deanna Burdett in a ceremony officiated by Counting Cars star Danny Coker, with Chumley acting as the ring bearer. Though Rick has kept much of his family life private, occasional glimpses from Pawn Stars reveal a man deeply committed to his loved ones, striving to balance the demands of fame with his personal life. Rick's entrepreneurial spirit didn't stop with Pawn Stars. He expanded his business empire with the opening of Rick's Roland's Smoke BBQ and Tavern, located next to the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop. In 2011, he co-authored his memoir, License to Pawn: Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop, giving readers an inside look into his journey and career. But Rick didn't stop there. His eye for new opportunities pushed him to diversify his brand, tapping into emerging markets with ease. Despite his vast knowledge, Rick understood the value of bringing in experts when needed. One of his most notable acquisitions was a 2001 New England Patriots Super Bowl ring, purchased for just $2,600, later valued at a much higher price. Another iconic deal involved a collection of Spanish gold coins recovered from a 1715 shipwreck, showcasing Rick's deep passion for history and priceless artifacts. But in 2023, Rick's life took a dramatic turn. He found himself at the center of a high-profile federal investigation that left fans stunned. FBI agents, IRS investigators, and officials from the Department of Cultural Heritage Protection raided both Rick's home and the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in a stunning operation. Witnesses described the scene as something out of a crime thriller. Agents detained employees and customers while seizing documents, computers, and even valuable artifacts from the shop. Videos showing Rick being escorted from his home by Secret Service agents quickly went viral, igniting a media frenzy. As details began to emerge, it became clear that authorities were investigating allegations of tax evasion, money laundering, and the trafficking of stolen artifacts. These allegations were linked to suspicious transactions flagged by financial institutions, as well as complaints from former business partners. Despite the mounting public scrutiny, Rick remained calm, continuing to manage his business while the investigation unfolded. Following the shocking raid, the History Channel took immediate action, temporarily suspending Pawn Stars while issuing a statement that they were closely monitoring the situation. The Gold and Silver Pawn Shop remained open, but as Rick's legal troubles mounted, customer traffic began to dwindle. Rick's representatives swiftly denied any wrongdoing, attributing the entire mess to misunderstandings that would soon be cleared up. His attorney, David Marshall, reassured the public, claiming Rick had always operated his business with the utmost transparency. But was that the whole story? As the investigation unfolded, disturbing evidence began to emerge. Authorities accused Rick of deliberately undervaluing historical artifacts in a bid to evade taxes and, even more concerning, dealing in stolen goods. A whistleblower, a former employee, came forward, revealing a secret accounting system designed to cover up illicit transactions. It wasn't long before Rick was arrested, although he was released on bail the very next day. The charges against him were nothing short of severe: tax evasion, money laundering, and dealing in stolen property. The trial that followed became a spectacle, and more damaging evidence surfaced with each passing day. Encrypted messages detailing plans to conceal stolen items and bypass financial reporting only deepened the accusations against Rick. Despite his public protests of innocence, he maintained his defense on TV, presenting himself as a victim of circumstance. In response, his supporters rallied under hashtags like "I Free Rick," and protests outside the courthouse grew in number. Could Rick really be the victim here? Or was the truth far darker than anyone had imagined? When the verdict was finally read, the sentence was harsh. The judge emphasized the grave impact Rick's actions had on cultural heritage, leaving the public divided. Rick's most loyal fans rallied behind him, collecting over 100,000 signatures to support his appeal. Corey Harrison, Rick's son, passionately defended his father, but the damage was done. Pawn Stars was canceled, and Rick's empire began to crumble before everyone's eyes. As the dust settled, Corey took charge of the pawn shop, vowing to rebrand it by focusing on transparency and ethical practices. Although the shop faced a significant decline in the wake of the scandal, Corey remained determined to restore its reputation. 6 months after the conviction, he expressed his commitment to making things right, implementing strict verification processes to ensure everything moving forward was above board. Austin "Chumley" Russell, who had worked alongside Rick for years, reflected on the lessons he'd learned, but admitted there was a side to Rick he hadn't seen before. With mixed emotions, Chumley echoed the family's commitment to supporting Rick through the appeal process. Despite the fallout, the focus remained on ensuring the pawn shop's legacy endured, with Corey steering the ship through these turbulent waters. To show their unwavering support, the family set up a website for fans to send messages and letters to Rick. "Those small gestures make all the difference," Corey said, remaining optimistic despite the situation. He knows that the road to recovery will be tough, but with the support of their fans, there's still hope for the future. Rick's incredible rise to fame, once a story of humble beginnings and hard-earned success, now serves as a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change. Though the scandal has cast a long shadow over his legacy, the Harrison family remains hopeful. They continue to urge fans to keep sending their support through letters, prayers, and words of encouragement. The saga of Rick Harrison is far from over, sending shockwaves through the reality TV world and beyond. What happens next could alter the course of the family business forever. This unprecedented case has forced the public to reconsider everything we thought we knew about success, fame, and the cost of it all. Stay tuned for more updates as we continue to follow this story, one that has shaken not only Rick Harrison, but an entire industry. If you found this story compelling, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the latest updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.